show in a room with all of her woodland critters. It's phenomenal. I hope you got to see it. But I'm going to hand it over to her, and she has some wonderful written words that she has done, put this whole book together. It's phenomenal. So, and it's in here too. So if you get a chance when you go through the show, make sure that you look at that as well.
I feel like a fraud. Most artists do. Approach life and figure out what we want to do with our lives. And I feel like a fraud with breast cancer. I had a bilateral mastectomy and did not have reconstruction. You know, it's like, screw it, why would I want any more pain? And I didn't do the cold cap. We shaved my head. My granddaughter helped me. My daughter helped me on that. They live with me. They're my support. It was like breast cancer was an interlude, and I was not going to let it really interrupt what I was doing. I was in the middle of creating 100 figures of warrior women, and we're warrior women for a lot of reasons, and each of the warrior women that I've created has a story behind it, and they're in this book that I published. Breast cancer is a bitch. There's no doubt about it. I'm going to read this little bit. My daughter says louder. I'm not sure I can be louder. My granddaughter says yes.
We're a team.
We are definitely a team. Okay. So, in November of 2018, I had my yearly mammogram, just another annual preventive health test. Just a simple bother in the midst of a busy, productive schedule, including taking down the well-received exhibition of my first 21 warrior women. It was good to be back in the studio. I was excited to be sculpting the next group of figures. Then I got the call. Yeah, I got a call from a nurse. And I should have been honored. I am a retired nurse practitioner. So I got a call from a nurse who said, "You have metastatic breast cancer." Oh. And I said, in my mind, I heard breast cancer, okay, and then I heard metastatic. I said, okay, I know what this is. It's spread already. And it was kind of a dubious diagnosis because it was found first in my lymph nodes in my left armpit, and they couldn't find it in my breast. So it was really bizarre. They eventually found it through another of many multitude of tests. Sure enough, there it was. 1 in 8 American women develops breast cancer. I was to discover that the diagnosis starts a surreal and seemingly endless stream of appointments, consultations, exams, directives. Within a few weeks, there were repeat mammograms, ultrasounds, biopsies, MRIs, and CT scans, and ultimately the chilling diagnosis of, yes, metastatic breast cancer. I kept working in my studio. I worked large, and I knew that I had to keep producing to make that 100 figures. So I was throwing the forms of my figures, plotting out the characters, researching their stories. It wasn't until my appointment with the surgeon and making the decision to have a bilateral mastectomy that the reality fully hit. Not only would this diagnosis slow me down in the studio in the short run, but it could also affect my physical ability to create the figures, and it might just take my life. I remember telling my daughter that I had breast cancer. We were standing in the kitchen, and the tears start to roll. I gave her a big hug, and I said in her ear, whisper, "It's a secret. Women don't die of breast cancer anymore." Why? But it got us through it. To increase my chances of survival, I would have to give up control, which I don't do easily. I had to hand over my daily schedule to complete strangers and rely on the trust in others, many others, most of all, my beloved daughter Anne, I did not do this easily or gracefully. And as it turned out, there were a series of complications, additional surgeries, prolonged chemotherapy, radiation, and almost daily rehab treatments. At times, feeling defeated and floundering, I found my only salvation in the studio. I was processing the diagnosis, and although the work was physically challenging, it was therapeutic. We all approach art in our own ways. I've been very impressed with the previous speakers that art was a salvation. I didn't even look at that. Art is my vocation, my avocation. It's what I do. And the last line in this chapter is, still, I was just so damn tired and sick. I had a year of treatment, and as you said, a year of recovery from treatment. So, thank you. I appreciate your time.